Welcome back to the IPP podcast, Kermit the Frog's famous podcast. Because Miss Piggy likes it. Because it's Miss Piggy's favorite.
Miss Piggy.
She didn't say why, but it's her favorite too.
Miss Piggy.
Rah!
Rah!
It ain't easy being green.
This Pokemon looks like Jigglypuff, but it's not.
Smaller?
It's
Is it Igglybuff?
It's Igglybuff.
It's Igglybuff! It's cute. It's got... Yay!
It's Igglybuff.
He's got 3 balls on his head. He's got 3 balls.
3 balls. He's got 3 balls on.
Go on.
Oh,
I just ate a lot of pasta.
we got it all out.
Yeah.
Fiona is our pet of the week.
Yes, because this is...
Fiona.
Because, okay,
Fiona.
disclaimer. We're filming these
Back to
back. So Fiona technically gets 2 weeks in a row because we're going out of town and we have to record these back to back. So, congrats to Fiona Beans.
Woo! She finally sent me
Oh, the
a
paragraph?
paragraph. Her full name is Fiona Mae Dooley. She is 3 years old, Maine Coon. For her second year of her life.
For her first, second year?
For her first
we
2
all have
years.
our first, second year.
Sorry. For her first 2 years of her life, she was raised with our old dog Lola. And when Lola passed, we considered getting another dog. But your sister found us Finnegan, Mia found Finnegan, on Pet Finder, and a whole new chapter in Fiona's life begun. A chaotic one at that.
Sorry, Fiona.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Fiona. I was convinced she didn't know how to be a cat because she's been raised by an old lazy dog.
Yeah.
Since her brother came into her life, she finally realized she's a cat. She plays, spies on birds and squirrels in the yard. She's curious, loves her yarn ball babies. She likes to play with yarn.
Yeah.
When my mom crochets, and holds the record for being super lazy, judgy, and just a little anxious, antisocial cat at times.
Aren't we all?
Yep, just a little bit.
Queen. She queens out. That's what happens. She queens out.
She queens out.
She slays.
She slays.
She's slaying.
So I had a game in mind, and I was like, ooh, I like the really bad descriptions. Get it out.
I'm trying.
Get it out.
I'm trying.
Damn.
No, go ahead. Keep talking.
I like the descriptions of the movies, like the bad descriptions. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'll do one of shows.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, but you don't know shows.
No. That's why it worked with you, is because you've seen a lot of movies.
So then I was like,
but it doesn't
right
work
as we were
with me.
sitting down setting up, I was like, what if I did bad description of animes?
I could probably get that. Yeah.
So
I could do that.
I very quickly just looked up something.
Yeah.
And
We're a little rushed for this episode. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
it's a little weird this week.
We're
It's a
getting
little
all
weird.
over the
we're
place.
all over the place, but we're still cranking them out. Like
So
my hog. Go on.
anyways, so
Yeah, good joke.
the first one yeah, good joke. Good
back to
joke,
me.
bud.
Back
Good
to
joke,
me.
bud.
You're not that guy.
You're not that
You're
guy.
not that guy.
You're not that guy, bud. First one is a boy has his family murdered and then joins the fire department seeking revenge.
That's Fire Force.
Yeah, it's quite
Easy.
obvious.
Yeah, that's Fire Force.
This one is an anime with giant fights and no one knows what's going on.
Evangelion, right? Or Evangelion, or you said robots?
No, it just says this anime has with giant fights.
Giant fights. Oh, then
And-
AOT.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan. I was like, Okay, watching Evangelion, I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
I still don't know what happened.
I don't know what the plot of that show
Yeah.
is. I don't know.
I remember walking
I
out.
loosely know the plot of
Yeah.
Attack on Titan.
I remember walking out of the
Loosely.
room and Quentin being like, "How was it?" And I'm like, "I can't describe it."
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I was like, "I don't know how I feel."
Like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I know what happens in Attack on Titan. If someone were to ask me, like, I know nothing about it, explain it to me, I don't think I could do it. I'm like, okay, so, so
It's
there's this
hard.
guy, and he turns into this big guy when he hurts himself. But there's a bunch of people that could do that, but they're not very nice.
But they're not.
Also, they eat people. Like I can't
It's
do it.
really hard to
It's
say.
really hard
like to
And
describe.
then you get past season 3, you go into season 4, it gets twice as complicated.
And you don't even know. Then they introduce like the fact that they're not the only civilization.
Okay, so they're like the devils because they had the Titans or whatever, and then the other people are like not devils, and then it's like a whole race war thing, but also it's also like a genocide thing, and they're trying to kill the. I don't know. Again, it's hard to describe.
It's crazy.
And then I have to say that with a straight face.
It's insane. I was glad we sat down and we watched it together because that was an experience I'll never be able to witness again. Because just watching it, I was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but
it's awesome.
I'm so hooked that I can't look away.
I don't know what's happening, but it rules. It's sick.
This next one is a monkey boy and a genius girl venture out in search of giant marbles.
Is that Dragon Ball?
Yeah. Mind you, I got this from a website. I'm not making these up, so they're probably pretty somewhat
simple.
easy.
I mean, that one gave me pause, but because I haven't watched Dragon Balls. It was the marbles. I was like,
Yeah. A half dragon boy and his cat venture out together with a pervert, the locksmith, and a rigid, beautiful woman.
Is this fairy tale?
This is
What? Okay, wait, hold on. Say it again.
Oh,
Tell me again.
Okay. A half dragon boy and his cat venture out together with a pervert, a locksmith, and a rigid, beautiful woman.
And that sounds like loosely like fairy tale.
I think you're right. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's fairy tale.
Okay.
It's fairy tale. I was right.
You're right.
Yeah, because Natsu, the main character, he's a dragon slayer, and he like breathes fire. And then his Happy, the little blue cat with wings, and then Gray, the pervert, every time he opens in a battle, he has to take off his clothes. He doesn't have to. He chooses. He very well chooses.
He chooses to take his clothes off?
To declothe, yeah.
Like everything?
His shirt.
Okay.
He's in like his pants.
I was gonna say
he takes
everything?
off his shirt every time, and then there are certain like comedic moments where he's just in his boxers. It's his character trait.
It's
fun.
He's a good old funny.
It's fun.
This one's gonna be really easy.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say the first bit of this,
and
you should get this. Players are trapped inside the game.
I don't actually know this. Keep going.
And the protagonist pretends to be an asshole and ends up in love.
What? One more time?
Players are trapped inside a game.
And
the protagonist pretends to be an asshole and ends up in love.
Stuck in a game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sword Art. Holy crap. Oh my god. Sorry. Whoa. Took me a minute.
Yeah, I was like,
that was from the deep recesses of my mind. I watched a lot of Sword Art, and I was like, and then it got to a point where I'm like, man, it's ass. It got not good. But yes. Took me a minute.
Yeah, I think that was the first anime I ever watched.
Yeah, it's a good starter.
And I was just like, this shit
was like good, but it was cheesy, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I'm like, what are we doing?
What is going on?
What are we doing? Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
Your Owen Wilson is really good.
Wow. So we did 1, 2.
My Jennifer
3,
Coolidge is really
4,
good. And your Owen
5.
Wilson is really good. Harry Potter.
5. This
The
would be
boy
6.
who lived.
Come to die.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Harry Potter. You have Avada-Kedavra. Anyways, in this anime where you have to pilot your companion, a failed pilot and a half demon kill giant monsters.
This is Darling in the Franxx.
No.
Say it again.
In this anime where you have to pilot your companion, a failed pilot and a half demon kill giant monsters.
This is Darling in the Franxx.
Is it?
Yeah. It is.
Let me zoom in on this real quick.
That's exactly what I said. I know what I'm talking about. Are you kidding me? I
don't know
leave
what I'm talking
my
about.
house until I was 19 years old, and you think I don't know?
You don't know what that is. I don't know what that
you
is.
Amateur.
But the thing that's messing me up is on this website, it's not showing me the names.
It's not the name.
It's just showing me. I'm like, what is this?
I'll try to describe what it looks like next time if you can't read it.
This one's gonna be easy.
Uh-huh.
A spy,
Mm-hmm.
a telepath, and an
Spy family.
Yeah.
Spy family.
Yeah.
Spy family is really cute. There is a moment people stopped liking it for some reason. They're like, "This show's really weird," and I'm like, "No, it's not." I don't know why. Anime people are weird. I will say, anime people are really fucking weird. Just say it, because I'll probably be able to tell you exactly what it is.
They're wishy-washy on it, I guess.
What do you mean?
Anime.
On Spy Family. Oh, yeah.
Anime people are wishy-washy on stuff.
Honestly, like, as I had mentioned, I didn't leave my house until I was 19. Touch grass. Freakazoids. Go outside. Once I learned how to go outside, and you might be able to pull some bitches. I'll be honest with you. Touch some grass. Bitches are out there touching grass.
They be touching it.
And eating it. And smoking it. And they're like, yeah, sure. Standards are lower than ever. Now's your chance.
Standards is pretty great.
On the ground. I will say this. You can aim higher. Specifically to women. I've seen who my friends go after. Do better. Do better.
This is a public announcement.
Your
from
titties
Sarah.
are too big. Your ass is too fat for you to be aiming that low. All right?
Go higher. Shoot for the stars.
Shoot for the star. I think it's to the sky.
Shoot to the sky.
No, you're right.
Tatsu's looking right at me. I look over and he just has this murderous look on his face.
I was eating my pasta, and usually when I eat, he'll hover around me because he'll wait till I finish and he licks the bowl. He didn't get to lick the bowl.
He's
so
upset right now.
He's so mad.
Dang, Tatsu.
All right, keep going.
Holy crap, dude. Calm down. A cute robo girl who, after fighting in the war, starts writing letters to people.
Violet Evergarden.
What's the poster?
It is, she's blonde. Her hair's in a ponytail. She's got like a blue dress. Or white dress. Yes, that. God. Amateur hour. My God. And you lived with Quentin.
Quentin watched, like, he liked watching, like, slices of life stuff. And I'm not for that. I'm not really for those.
I guess. You're like, if two people aren't fist fighting or each other, I
was
don't
like,
care.
if there are no big ass fucking robots on the screen slapping some big ass demon shit, I was like, I'm not for it. Or if it's not like some superhero Hero Academia stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
You
which
like
I have
action.
not seen though.
You like action.
I like action. I also like complicated shit too.
You liked Evangelion.
I loved Evangelion.
AOT is both of those things.
AOT
is both action and incredibly complicated.
Exactly. I didn't know what turns they were gonna take.
That's okay.
I'm done.
That's it?
That's it.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
Amateur.
I'm sorry.
Amateur. Of course I knew.
So, we wanted to talk about today was HOA stuff. Mm-hmm. And first of all, for those who own houses or just live with their parents, HOA are homeowners association. And they are a group of people that get together and they make rules for everyone to abide by.
And they tell people what they can and can't do with the place they're paying rent for.
And on top of paying rent, they add another fee for the
having the homeowners just to tell them how to do it.
Just to tell them. Now, I will say,
sorry, keep going.
Our HOA themselves are not horrible.
No, they're not bad. They're
not bad.
They send out like a newsletter and they have like things and events that they do. But recently,
they've been on a little bit of a tear.
Yeah, they've been a little strange.
I think this year they turned over a new leaf.
Where they're like, we forgot we're an HOA and
they were
we have to behave like one.
They were just like, you know what? We don't like cats anymore.
Well,
so
the specific reason is okay. So
stray cats.
We put out food. We used to put out food and water for stray cats because we had a lot of stray cats in our apartment complex, and they sent out a newsletter saying, "Hey, everybody, stop doing that because when stray cats shit outside, when they poo outside, they can leave back like a bacteria or something that can spread and it can be pretty harmful. So we're like, oh shit, like that sucks. We love feeding the cats, but whatever. So we stopped putting food out in the bowl, but we left the bowl outside because we're lazy. We're lazy. Let's be real. We're lazy. So the bowl was outside. It was empty. It was collecting dirt. It had nothing in it. No food, no water, no nothing. The HOA complained to our landlords before talking to us about the empty, dirty bowl.
Through email.
Which
was going to their spam.
So
to our landlord's spam. So they didn't get it. So, like, they're getting all this spam email, and eventually they check it. And I get a call from one of our landlords. It was like, hey, we have to go to this meeting because you guys left out a bowl for stray cats. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. I was like, and as I'm on the phone, I'm picking it up. I'm bringing it inside. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, honestly, she's like, it's fine. Like, I didn't even.
Our landlord, we got very lucky in terms of our landlords. They're very, very nice people.
She was just like, it doesn't really matter to us. She was like, and then she kind of went into some things that they've been kind of a little bit more more on top of, which was like having an umbrella in the back. And she was like, your umbrella, it's fine, right? And I was like, you can't see it from the street because I put a little umbrella up for the stray cats for when it rains.
For when it rains, we have a chair outside and we have like a little sports umbrella. We stick it inside the chair. You can't even see it unless you put your head over our fence into our patio and you can see the umbrella. That's the only way you can see it. I think the rule is it can't cover more than 25% and be more than like 6 feet tall.
It can't. She was like, it doesn't cover up more than 65% of yours. And I was just like, no. She's like, okay, then you're good.
Yeah.
But like I said, nothing too crazy. We haven't had anything too crazy.
We're good tenants.
And for the most part, I feel like a lot of people around here are pretty good about, keeping to themselves and nothing too crazy.
It was just crazy that they still got mad at us because we had an empty, dirty bowl that had not been filled for months at this point because they were like, hey, stop doing it. And we're good people and we listen. So we stopped doing it. But instead of just putting a note on our door and being like, hey, can you take in the bowl? They contacted our landlord.
I had even told my landlord about this. When I had first moved in here, there was this black plant pot outside of our place. And there was a notice from HOA. And I think it was a different HOA when I first moved in. And they're like, hey, if you don't remove this, we won't tend to the bush in front of your place. The bush is like dead. There's like 3 leaves on the bush.
It is a desolate bush in front of
and
our
so
apartment.
I was just like, well, it's not mine. I didn't put it there. I don't think it's the landlord's. I think they bought this place and that was there. I was like, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
I was like, plus the bush is not
shockingly, Mr. HOA, I think you underestimated how much I don't care.
Yeah. And so they still tend to the bush.
They do.
They still tend to the bush. I'm just like,
they pick the leaves off that bush and we're like, sick, dude. I forget it's there.
Yeah. I'm like, cool. You're going to stay here till the end of time, little black plant pot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, my mom just texted me. Well, she called me and I didn't answer because we were about to record. She texted me. She goes, Zuko, my dog. Zuko always greets me with a toy and follows me to the bathroom. I finished the toilet paper roll and tried to give it to him, but he didn't know what to do because he didn't want to let go of the toy in his mouth. I left the empty roll on the floor in the bathroom and left him. He came into the living room with them both in his mouth. I didn't know how he did, but he did. And this picture of him with the toilet paper roll. And I'll put it up on screen because he's crazy.
He didn't know what to do, dude. That's so funny.
Anyway, sorry, I was getting distracted reading, looking at these pictures. Sorry.
So no, you're good. So I went to the internet and I was just like, what's some crazy HOA stuff?
You find a lot on Reddit.
Yeah.
People on Reddit have a lot to say about HOAs. I have a lot to say about HOAs. I think they're pointless.
Yeah.
I think they serve no purpose whatsoever.
I think the only good thing that comes about it is they pay for the security for this place.
Yeah, they
That's
do security and sometimes maintenance, but because we have a landlord that's directly doing all of the maintenance, like it doesn't apply to us.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because these are all separately owned places. If it was like an
Yeah.
apartment
like
complex,
a complex
it's a little
with
bit different.
with one person who
Yeah.
oversees, but it's not.
But
so it's different. Like I googled it. I was like, "What's the benefit of an HOA?" And people are like, "Oh, the sense of community." I'm like, "Get out of here! I'm not paying. If we buy a house, I'm not paying an extra $500 a month for a quote sense of community."
Yeah.
You're smoking crack if you think I'm doing that.
I was looking at places in Seattle.
Yeah,
Their HOA fees are like
Insane.
$800.
insane. Yeah,
I was like, what the
that's disgusting.
Why are you paying an HOA $800?
It's okay. I'll just build my own house.
Yeah.
I'll just build it.
What the hell?
I'll spend $10,000 on Amazon and I'll buy that little pop-up house. That sounds better than paying an HOA $800 a month.
Yeah. You got me fucked up.
Of my hard-earned money. Again.
Yeah. I'm okay. Anyway, so I looked up on the internet and I saw this article where it was like,
whoa, there it is.
There it is. Where it was talking about a lot of somewhat crazy stories from HOA.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that I was reading I was just like, that is so funny. So this one says, I lived in a townhouse outside of DC that was part of an HOA. No one had repainted in years, so my roommates got a can of hunter green paint, the same color of our front door and shutters. Although they were faded, we repainted. One neighbor walked by and told us how nice it looked and complained that no one else ever spruces up their houses. Another came over, eyes down at the can of paint and left. Like, looked at the can of paint and left. A few days later, we got a nasty letter about how we were in violation of an HOA rule for using the wrong brand of paint.
They're like, how dare you use Sherman-Williams?
Not the wrong color.
We're a bar family in here. How dare you?
The wrong
Get that Sherman-Williams out of here!
brand.
That's funny, dude.
That's insane.
That's what I'm saying. What's the point of an HOA? They're like, the qualifications to be an HOA, you have to be the most insufferable person, you have to be nosy, and you have to have a perpetual stick up your colon.
Dude, they're like, that hunter green paint can is not, what's another shirt?
I said Charmin.
Charmin
Charmin Ultra Strong.
That is not Charmin Ultra Strong green paint can.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like Bear or
but it's just like the wrong brand.
Yeah.
Are you out of? Who cares? It's the same color.
You use a Sherman-Williams can? How dare you?
Like, holy crap! They were given a week to fix it, or they would come out and paint over our house numbers. On our 2 reserved parking spaces.
Dude, you know
so
what?
anyone could park in our spots. Holy crap!
You know what would be even better is, let's say that they... Oh, dude, this is... I've heard a similar story. What if they, instead of the same color, they did everything the same except for they were like, hot pink. We're going to paint it hot pink.
Yeah, same brand.
Same brand, like whatever. Paint it hot pink. HOA comes, they're like, we can't stand for this. Then they do it. I would do that as like a malicious compliance kind of thing where it's like, you won't do it? All right, I'm going to paint my own damn house.
All
and
right,
it's going to be hot pink. And then they just do it however they want.
And it's the same brand.
That's actually... Okay. Oh, my God. That's f***ing insane.
So their response was like, listen, if you don't fix this within 2 weeks, we're going to paint over your reserved parking spots so anyone could park there.
How would they know the difference? How would they know if it's the same exact color, but it's a different brand? How the actual fuck would they know?
If that person didn't walk over and look at the paint cans, they would have never known.
They wouldn't have known.
They would have never known.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say a week goes by and they're like, whoa, okay, we'll repaint it. And then it's dried or whatever. They're like, you didn't repaint it. I'm like, no, I did. You wouldn't be able to tell because it's the same color. That's how stupid
Wow.
I just got suddenly very angry. Apologies. Whoa.
So yeah, that was
My bad.
that was one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. My best friend lived in a neighborhood for a short period of time with a very strict HOA. One of their most ridiculous demands was that on trash day, all of the trash cans must be removed within 30 minutes of trash pickup. Otherwise, there would be a fine. Trash pickup was at 10 a.m. when most people were at work and couldn't move their trash cans.
And that's another reason is that's why they do it is because they're like, well, you didn't listen to us, so now we're gonna have to fine you.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing. Unless you know what I would do?
it's like
that
mother. I was at work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to go to work to pay your stupid fine.
Yeah.
By the way, what I would do is if there was like, I would pay like, oh damn, I would be like, oh, I'll pay this person like a neighbor. But I'm like, no, everybody's at work. I'm just saying if there's one person who's at home
That's
who like
my
works
thing
at home,
is,
or I'm
like-
like, I'm paying that neighbor. I'm like, hey, can you, or like, hey, I'll buy you dinner or whatever for the next week if you take in my cans.
Yeah.
While I'm at work, and that would be easy. I
But
have a
it's
new
just-
friend, and I don't have to pay an HOA. I would rather pay a neighbor than an HOA.
Yeah.
Because what do they do with that money? Fuck all. Fuck all. They do fuck all with that money.
Yeah.
They use it to terrorize people.
It's just like a point of like control, and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm retired and I don't have anything better to do with my time.
Then bother people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel of it.
I can't remember the context, but there was a Curtis Connor in a video. He was like, yeah, elderly people, now that they don't work, they max out their skill points in racism. HOA people, when they're elderly, they max out their skill points in being annoying.
Yeah.
That's just it. And being nosy.
And being nosy. Mr. Bingus. The HOA came to my house right when we moved in at 6 a.m. to let me know that we chose the wrong garbage company to come pick up our trash at 6 a.m.
Wait, you get a choice? I thought it was just.
I guess some people
whoever.
get. I guess some cities.
I've
they
never
get
heard that
choices.
you get a choice. I just thought it was like, okay, this truck takes this route and picks up everybody regardless.
I don't know.
Whoever put their cans out.
Well, it's just kind of like PG&E. We have to pay PG&E, and in some states they get to choose their electricity
I guess
thing. It might be the same thing in
So-
some states for that.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no clue.
Hey, also, didn't know that. That's stupid. How am
6 a.m.
Also, how am I supposed to know what garbage company you use? All of the trucks
Yeah.
look the same.
I remember.
I don't care what it looks like, who's doing it, as long as someone picks up my goddamn trash. I'm not complaining.
I remember when
And neither should you.
when my mom and stepdad lived in, they rented their house.
Yeah.
They had an HOA, and the main rule that pissed all of us off that lived there was they couldn't have any cars on the road overnight. So what we would have to do was we had to play Tetris with our cars. So like
People in the garage. In the
my
driveway.
mom and my stepdad would be in the garage. Mia's car would be parked up, and that was like all the room that we had. So every week, me and Mia would switch, and down the street, the people who actually know my landlords who got us this place, we befriended them because they had a spot where we were able to just park into their driveway.
Yeah.
And so every week we would switch,
Mm-hmm.
and so mornings of waking up and going to work, I'd have to wake up an extra 10 minutes early so I could walk down there. And
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, that is so annoying.
What I was going to say is I'm like, okay, let's, in this scenario, if I knew where an HOA member lived, I'd park in their driveway. My car can't be in the street. It's in your driveway.
It's in your driveway.
What? I'm following the rules. It's not on the street.
Yeah, it's not on the street.
You're in my driveway. At least I'm not on the street.
At least I'm not on the street. This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah. Again, malicious compliance. I'll do what you want. You may not like it, but I'll do what you want.
Yeah, I'll do what you want.
And
sure.
it's easy. And I'll feel nothing.
I feel nothing.
Nothing.
I feel nothing.
What kind of guy are you?
So this one says, our HOA has a decree against sidewalk chalk.
That reminds me, that immediately think of that one woman who got a hose and started like washing off some little girl who put chalk on the road.
So
goes,
stupid.
It's distracting in the road. This girl is like, she's like 8.
Yeah,
she's
like bawling.
She's bawling her eyes out. And the mom is obviously recording like, what are you doing?
It's distracting.
Insane. You look insane.
So this was especially apparent during the pandemic when kids were kept at home and looking for something to do. HOA rules make no sense half the time and are heavily slanted against the underrepresented on the board because the same old nosy busybodies are the only ones who want to be on the board.
That's what no one wants to be on the HOA.
I thought about it.
I would say
when they were asking like sitting out, I was just
would
like,
do it so they would leave me alone.
Yeah. I was like, dude,
So that
if
they
I
wouldn't
was on
come
the
after
HOA
me.
and I was just like, they bring up something stupid, like they're like, we up the fee $5 every month until it hits a maximum. I'm like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
There's no point of that.
Yeah, that it would be that, and also like if I'm on the HOA, they're not. There's leeway if you're on the HOA board. They're not gonna come after you as much as anybody else. I'll be like, yeah, Sharon.
Unless you're the one HOA board member that they don't like.
Yeah.
Then there's that.
Unless you're ostracized at bingo, who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
You beat me at bingo. That was my card, and then you took it. Anyways,
that was my money. I was supposed to win.
And you took it from me.
How dare you? I'm telling Carol.
I'm gonna fine you $50 for that. That's how much you won.
Yeah.
Literally saw one lady wait for a mom and her 2 young kids to come back from a walk to tell her to clean up the sidewalk chalk outside their garage door. It's just like, why?
Life's too short. I hate to pull out the cliche, but it is. And especially when you're old, time's ticking, Granny.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Surely there is somebody else. Unless you are just the worst and no one will talk to you again. You're like, well, I have to resort to being a bitch.
I have to start fining everyone for all of the leaves that I find in their yard.
I have nothing else to do, and this is fun for me.
Everyone.
Yeah, that's... Again, what's the point? What's the point? And it's becoming to a point, too, where, like, HOA, like, finding a house that's not under HOA is impossible to find.
I remember when my mom and my stepdad were looking for a house, and they would find a house, and they're like, oh, my God, this is perfect. They're like, but it's a fucking HOA.
But there's, like, $1,000 in HOA fee. Yeah, I
They're
remember
like,
they were
"Fuck
looking to
that."
buy a house. They're like, this is an HOA.
Yep.
We can't live here.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, too, is, like, renting it is one thing. To buy that house and be stuck there.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
Here's one. We went back and forth with the HOA about the weeds, quote unquote, on my property until I realized they considered my hedge weeds. Eventually, they relabeled it to unauthorized landscaping or something to make me remove them. That was a $400 fine in the meantime. $400.
Okay, I don't necessarily know how HOAs function. Can they do that? Can you ignore an HOA fine and not experience any legal ramifications? Like, do they have any legal binding? Like, if you're like, this is an HOA, and you're just like, I'm not going to sign it.
There's been times where HOAs bring people to court.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know how often they win. I would think that it doesn't happen often enough to where it's like a big deal, but I've seen like some very rare cases where like someone in the military buys a house in an HOA neighborhood and they're gone for a very long time, and an HOA member thinks that the house is abandoned, and so they'll like try to get that house like up for sale or some shit. So when that person comes back from the military, their house is like sold because the HOA is stupid. Like, I've seen rare cases of that happening. But it's just like, why?
All right. Apparently, because I think it's probably part of, like, when you sign over the house, the HOA comes with it. And so I'm assuming if you sign the thing for the house to own the house, the HOA
you acknowledge
comes with
the HOA.
So basically, after looking it up.
Terms of service.
Yeah, and you can't. You can ignore them. The thing is that they can't take you to court. They can put a lien on your property, which basically means you can't sell it until it's resolved.
Yeah.
So basically, if you have an HOA fine, and let's say in the time of you living there, you ignore it. You're like, I'm not gonna pay it. They will take a lien on your house, kind of like a garnishment, and you can't sell your house or anything like that until you resolve it. Or they, just take you to fucking court and be like, pay the fine. But I'm like, why? I had a hedge. And they're like, it was an illegal hedge.
That gets into like a civil...
it's a civil case,
Civil case, yeah.
If you fail to pay the fines, the HOA may take you to court. This can lead to additional legal fees. Yeah. And it also can impact your credit score.
Well, that is true.
Because, in severe cases, the HOA can pursue foreclosure if the fines are not paid, potentially leading to the loss of your property. In conclusion, don't live in an HOA.
Yeah, just try your best to just get the fuck out of an HOA.
I wonder if there's like a kind of like a rate my professor, but it's like rate my
HOA.
It's like
that'd be so funny.
How awful is this HOA? Like, is it worth putting up with for this really cool house for this HOA? Someone should make that. We should make that. That's a great business model.
The whole HOA talk, it reminds me of my stepdad's friend who they bought a house in an HOA neighborhood. And he wasn't really good at... I mean, they had apparently really low gates. And they had pretty big dogs. So the dogs very easily jumped over the backyard gate, or fences, I should say.
Yeah.
And so they would quite regularly get out. And I remember talking to him, and he's like, yeah, so they ended up having to sell the house because they had to choose either the dogs or the house, and they chose the dogs.
The HOA was it the HOA?
It was kind of like the whole community, I guess the HOA in a way, but they're just like, yeah, your dogs keep breaking out too much. They're like, you either have to get rid of your dogs or you have to sell the house, type of thing.
God.
So they were like, well, we're not going to sell our dogs.
That's insane.
They're like, so we're just going to sell the house. Yeah. Crazy.
I'm so irate.
Yeah.
I will say it until I choke.
I don't understand.
What's the point? The HOA benefits nobody but themselves.
No one.
Homeowners Association, yeah. Homeowners of my ass, maybe.
Ha! Got him!
How about you suck on that one? You take that. You take that L. You hold that.
Take that L. Take that L, motherfucker.
I'm still young and hip. I know what the kids are saying.
It makes me, HOA makes me want to, make my own property management company and just be like, I don't care.
Just pay your rent.
Just pay your rent, dude.
Care.
Just pay your rent and be a good tenant. That's it. That's all I care about.
It should be that easy.
Take care of your house, clean, obviously.
I mean, I know why an HOA like that exists is because it's a property value thing, and it's like if the whole neighborhood looks good, then the whole property value goes up. Yada yada yada. A hedge.
Sidewalk chalk. Sidewalk chalk.
Oh no, children live here. It's safe.
You're repainting the door and the window shutters that are the same color but different brand.
You use Velspar? What the fuck? Yeah.
Like that, it doesn't make any sense, and it will never make sense to me.
Because logically, it's not supposed to. I think. Shocker, they just want your money, because they can get it. I think at this point, it's just an HOA can say whatever they want, whenever they want, just so they can stick you with a fine. Yep. That bullshit with the paint, having a hedge, it's pointless. They're okay, we can fine you and get away with it.
A lot of that stuff that upsets me is with the hedge, that we're like, oh, okay, well, he's not responding to it being
because it's not a weed.
It being a weed. So we're going to just change the rules so it abides to us to where it's an unauthorized landscaping.
Exactly.
And it's just so you're over here just changing rules willy-nilly.
It's more or less moving the finish line.
Yeah.
It's
stupid.
The greed of humanity sickens me.
The greed of humanity.
It's sickens me.
So yeah, I wanted to just talk about HOA because that was. That's how I feel at the very end of it.
Period.
I do want to go over some of the bad descriptions for some of the movies because I feel like you'd get at least this one.
Okay. I'm horrible at this.
Unable to stop himself going bald, a man decides to change his career path.
A man
Unable to stop
going-
himself going bald.
That makes it sound intentional, like he's making himself bald.
I mean, in a way, he kind of is. A man decides to change his career path. It's a very famous show.
It's a show?
It's a show.
Oh, I was thinking movie.
Oh, no, it's a show.
Is it Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
I did it! I
Yeah.
knew it!
You got it!
I got it!
I got it! You might get this one because I think you watched this show. A young man must harness his special gift while a friendship blossoms with another man who constantly insults him. Do you know what this is? You're laughing like you do.
I don't.
No,
The
okay.
description's funny. Wait. Can I get it
A
one more
young
time?
man must harness his special gift while a friendship blossoms with another man who constantly insults him. What a great friendship.
That's just me and Shelby.
That's me and Brayden.
Yeah, when I was in high school, like we took a video production class where I learned to edit and stuff like that, and I used the word abysmal.
Abysmal.
I have not lived it down. I was 18 when that happened.
That was your favorite word.
No, I said it. I had never said it in front of, I guess, ever like really in front of them. I just said the word. That was abysmal, and both of my friends, Shelby and Julie, looked at me like, "What did you say?"
What the hell just came out of your mouth?
I said abysmal. It means bad. They're like, "No, but why?" I haven't lived it down to this day.
No, but why?
No, but why?
No, but why would you want to know what the show
Yeah,
is?
I have no idea. Oh, it is. It is. Okay, it is Merlin. I love Merlin.
Yeah.
Merlin's awesome. That is so true because Merlin, he's doing his best, and Arthur's like, "You're trash, kid.
You're
The
trash,
entire
kid."
time, whispering in his ear, like, "Go clean my shit." He's like, "I'm literally the most powerful wizard in the kingdom." He's like, "I don't care. Go polish my boots." He's like, all right.
All right. This one was also funny. A fight for who gets the most uncomfortable toilet last.
Most uncomfortable toilet?
Yeah. It's a play on words because it's not an actual toilet.
I figured. Oh, wait. Say it again?
A fight for who gets the most uncomfortable toilet last.
Oh. No.
This is a very big one too.
Oh.
This is like, it's hard to say because it was probably the biggest show in the world.
Around what time? Can you give me like a year?
The last two seasons really kind of tarnished the name, so I would say around, I don't even know when it first premiered. I want to say like 2018, 17 maybe.
Most uncomfortable toilet?
Yeah.
And you said it's a play on words specifically for toilet?
Yeah. You want me to just tell you?
Honestly, I don't know why, but you say like play on for toilet. My word goes to throne, and I keep thinking of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I was right. I don't understand the play on words. If it's toilet.
Well, it's because the most uncomfortable. It's a throne, and they're all fighting for the throne, but they cannot use throne, so they went for who gets the most uncomfortable toilet.
I get it.
And toilets are
Okay.
kind of seen as somewhat
A porcelain throne.
a porcelain throne.
Okay. I can't believe I got that.
Now this one's also pretty funny. I
Okay.
thought this one was really funny. I don't know if you've watched this, but I definitely watched this with my family when it was coming out.
Uh-huh.
A man leads a group of people to rebel against the new diet trend? Again, at the height of this show, it was the biggest in the world. And we're talking even earlier. So we're
because if you
talking
you watch
like
it with your family.
2000, I would say 9 and 10 maybe.
Okay. A man goes against a new diet trend.
Yeah.
So he eats a lot?
So I'll read it back. A man leads a group of people to rebel against the new diet trend. Oh, and it's a diet for sure. It's a real diet.
Is it The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Yes! My dick is huge. Ladies, line up at the door. God.
Those were the ones that I figured that you would most likely get.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a few on here like I've never watched the show, but people fucking love it. Supernatural.
I love Supernatural.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. You want to hear what it is though?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No,
I've never seen you watch Supernatural.
Because I've never watched it or talked about it in front of you because it finished airing years ago. I watched the entire show. Me and my mom love Supernatural.
I didn't know that. Daddy issues are attempted to resolve by killing monsters.
Yes! I probably would have gotten that. I love Supernatural.
Damn it.
You know, we're still learning so much about each other.
We're still learning so much about each other. This one is one of my favorite shows, Sons of Anarchy with boats. This one you're probably not going to get.
With boats?
Yeah. Sons of Anarchy is amazing, by the way.
You watched a show called Vikings. I don't know if that's what it is.
That is what it is.
All right.
All right, let's bring you down a little bit. Let's see.
No.
You're definitely not going to get this one. A lonely man picks up a young woman on his travels around the world.
Okay, this is like...
This could be anything.
Yeah, I'm like...
I wanted
this
to bring
is like a classic
but
hero's
just kind
journey
of just
movie.
throw one out there.
A man picks up a young woman.
A lonely man picks up a young woman on his travels around the world.
I don't know, and I feel like you're doing this on purpose. Because I keep getting things right.
Am I?
Oh, are you?
Oh,
are you?
Oh my God!
What's the show?
Doctor Who.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I never watched it.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
I wasn't. In the time where like it was super popular, like, Supernatural and Doctor Who. I favored Supernatural just because I thought it was cool. And
Doctor Who was just like so intimidating to get into.
Yeah,
I remember
kinda.
I had a friend.
I feel like there's a lot of background you need to know.
There's so
already.
it came out so long ago,
and it's much older. Like Supernatural is like you have a starting point, like a clear starting point.
When did it come out?
Like the first iteration of Doctor Who. I know nothing about it. What I do know is I love the concept of the Weeping Angels. I think that is bone-chillingly awesome. Like the concept of where basically
1963.
There you go. That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Are you kidding me?
Old. But I think the most famous one is the David. Is it Tennant? Is that his name?
I think so.
David,
He's one of the popular ones.
He was one of the first ones, and then they had a different doctor, a different guy who played him.
The one that they show on here, the guy in the center, he was also a pretty famous one. Yeah,
he's the blonde guy with the scary eyes.
He's in the Game of Thrones spinoff.
Oh, House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's freaking sick on it.
But yeah, I love because I remember I've never, as I said, never watched Doctor Who, but there's a where they talk about the Weeping Angels, which is basically like if you look away they move.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. In that clip that I saw, he was like, "Don't even blink," and then she blinks, and then it moves, and it's like opening its eyes, and it's scary as fuck. That is great.
That's cool.
I'd be like, wow, if I didn't know any better, I would have said this is a horror show.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just Doctor Who.
It's very interesting. It's a sci-fi mixed in with like everything else. Yeah, if it wasn't so long, I would have jumped into it. Like I said, I had a friend who was just like, dude, you should start watching it. I was like, I don't know, bro. Like that's hard. That's like One Piece.
Yeah.
That's like how intimidating that crap is.
Yep.
I was like, I could never.
I know one person who was fully caught up on One Piece, like up to date on One Piece, seen everything. Shelby's sibling Sam, all caught up.
I have a coworker who is.
That's crazy.
He'd come and he'd be like, yeah, I'm all caught up. And I'm like, wait,
Why?
what? He's like, I would just put it on in the background while I'm doing things. I'm like, that's not catching up.
That's 7 years worth of content, by
Yeah.
the way. If you were to sit down and watch all of the episodes, the amount of hours equates to up to, I think,
Like
7
it's
years.
Crazy.
Hey, what are you doing?
Here's another one that I didn't watch this quite often, but I had family members who were obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
The only time nobody judges you for being attracted to serial killers, psychopaths, and sociopaths.
Oh, no, you watched Dexter, so it's not Dexter.
This one was also like
peak, like 2010, 2012 kind of thing.
I'd say like 2014. Like I would say the first few seasons were crazy popular.
Give it to me one more time.
The only time nobody judges you for being attracted to serial killers, psychopaths, and sociopaths.
So that there implies that there were multiple of them, and people thought they were hot.
Yes. Crazy for them, actually.
In that time, I was 12. So who's to say what I thought about it?
Maybe it was a little bit later. Maybe it was a little bit later. It could have been.
I don't know.
Could have been like 18, 19.
I don't know. What is it?
American Horror Story.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't really like it. I watched the first season, and I know like every season is a different story. I watched the first season. It was like heinous. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, it's tough
like,
to watch.
I sat through, because it was Murder House, I think is the first one. I watched that one. I watched maybe 2 episodes of the second one, which I think is Coven, and I was like, I don't enjoy this. Like, this is not for me.
My mom and Robert watched all of them.
It's not for me. I get why people would like it, but after the first season,
people are like Evan Peters.
Yeah, I was like, cool, y'all like Evan Peters, but what about what the stuff Evan Peters did while he was, obviously not Evan Peters, but his character. Hey, Tate did some crazy shit, and it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. So again, I get why people like it, but not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me.
Yeah, it is one of those shows that I thought was. The fact that they can go from every season being something different and still
I did like that.
Still have like
fun.
Popularity and still have a fan base was pretty cool.
And I like that idea too. I think it's definitely like a one of its kind sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, I get it. I understand why it went super mega popular. Not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me.
No, not for me.
Can't say but
those were the only ones that were really noteworthy from this.
That's fair.
They had like Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had the Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Which I watched.
You watched the Arrow?
I did. I watched the Arrow, Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. I watched all of those. I was obsessed with those. Those came out middle school for me, and when I was like a freshman, I was obsessed.
Me and my dad watched The Arrow, and then we watched The Flash. The
Arrow was better, I would say, but then it dropped off a little bit.
Oh,
after a while. It got boring and repetitive. I was like,
It kind of got to a point to where it felt like the writers didn't really know what else to do.
Yeah, and from what I heard from friends at the time who had actually like read the comics, they're like, yeah, so Oliver Queen is like way peppier than this.
Oh,
he's way funnier.
Yeah, in the
he's
cartoons,
way more brooding in the show.
In the cartoons, he's one of the
comic relief.
And
that's how he is like in Injustice. Like that's kind of the only other like representation of him that I'm aware of. And I was like, oh yeah, this is not at all how he's portrayed in the show.
Yeah, no.
I think the first 2 seasons of it are still good. Knowing that, I still enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash was annoying because
Flash,
he would cause problems and then his friends would have to fix it, and he's like, I'm sorry guys, I'm the Flash.
It was that, and then it was okay at the very end of the season. They're like, the main bad was like, all right, how are we gonna beat him? He's like, I'm just gonna go faster. And I'm like, dude,
yeah, he's like, I've got to go beyond.
I'm just gonna go a little bit quicker than him. And I'm like, dude, I can't with this.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, gonna eat a chili dog, go faster.
And
like,
Supergirl, I never got into. I just never.
I did.
I don't know if it was like I think she's pretty.
Melissa Benoist.
Oh yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
Babe.
I was like, that's a cool casting.
Killer.
But then I think I only watched a few episodes, and then at that point, I think I was done with the CW, like, DC stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Legends of Tomorrow, which was, had...
it had, like...
It had
was
Adam and, was it Black Canary?
Mm-hmm.
Like, things like that.
Firestorm.
Firestorm, thank you. Couldn't remember that one. And again, it was good for a while, but with that, too, was like, if you just watched Legends of Tomorrow, you would not know what the is going on, because if you didn't watch The Arrow, if you didn't watch Flash, if you didn't watch any of these other things,
well, then they just recently did the Superman and Lois Lane.
Oh yeah, not an episode, not a minute. Didn't watch a minute of that. I think the last parts of that I watched were Supergirl, and there was like a later season where I was like, what are we doing?
What the hell are we doing?
There was a part with Lena Luthor, and I was like, this is an interesting plot line, and then I was like, no, it's not.
No. I think
what are we doing?
I think they really tried throwing everything at it, because then at some point they did the reverse world where everyone was different.
Again, Barry Allen caused a fuck ton of problems.
Yeah.
He went around to fix it, quote unquote, and then everyone was mad at him because they're like, hey, stuff is different. You're telling us stuff is different. Like, you messed all of this stuff up. He's like, oops.
He's like, oopsie.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I really wanted to save my mom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
She can be dead, bro. It's okay.
So, yeah, I mean...
Builds character.
No, but I remember me and my dad watching The Arrow.
Yeah.
And when they brought in, like, Deathstroke, we were like, holy crap, this is peak entertainment right here.
And I will say, like... I still thought it was good.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. It was still entertaining to watch. I did enjoy that. But I think a lot of those shows where it's like, okay, how many comic characters can we put in here so that people that are fans of the comics will watch? That's kind of looking back on it, what it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It's like, oh, we're going to put Firestorm and Deathstroke in there, and Deadshot will make like a 2-second appearance, and then he's dipping. And then Amanda Waller's there too, I guess. Like, it was kind of just like...
Ra's al Ghul, and then Arrow dies, and now he's Ra's al Ghul, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So I mean, again, it was still entertaining.
Kill me if I'm wrong, but I always thought Ra's al Ghul was like just a Batman villain, and so when they were bringing Ra's al Ghul into the Green Arrow, I was just like, I was confused.
I don't know
Because that's what I felt was I was like, okay, this is their chance. They were like, this is our chance to make Green Arrow like exactly like Batman.
Yeah,
And so
that's kind of what it is.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, yeah.
Because they probably couldn't get they probably didn't want to pay for
They got the rights to everything but Batman.
But Batman. Because then they also did, I don't know if CW did it, but they also did Gotham.
Gotham was not CW. Gotham was good.
Gotham was good.
The
only thing that sucked about Gotham was the second they threw a character in, because I don't know if you knew this, but they couldn't get the rights. DC would not let, I don't know who produced Gotham.
I don't either.
But they would not give them the rights to Joker.
They had a Joker adjacent character.
So when they brought someone around who was adjacent to Joker and fans loved it, not only just the character but the actor as well.
I can't remember the actor, but he's pretty famous. He's very, very good.
He's the Jedi. He's
in the games, eyebrow guy. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, but once they brought that in, I think that was the downfall of Gotham, because then that's what anyone ever wanted. And so they're just like, well, now we have to figure out how to bring Joker in without actually making him Joker.
Yeah, because we can't call him the Joker.
Yeah.
They can just call him whatever. I did think it was weird, too, because in Gotham... Hey, sorry, we're talking about shows and things. That people may or may not have seen. But in Gotham, they introduce... Because it shows Bruce Wayne as a kid. He's like a preteen or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they introduced Selena Kyle when she was also like a teen. I kind of didn't
vibe
like with that. I was like, this makes no sense.
I was like, they're
not supposed to know each other like this. It doesn't really
work
make
out.
sense. Yeah. But, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But, again, getting... Gotham did what I think all of those CW shows wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was way better.
It was pretty damn good.
And they didn't even need Batman to be Batman. They just needed Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, they just had Commissioner Gordon, and they just played around that. And I think they did a great...
And they did great.
They did a good job of it.
I used to watch shows that's the thing. I think my attention span to start a new series of something, I'm like, ugh.
Oh, brother.
Because usually what'll happen is I'll get really invested, and then the show will just be like really bad. Like over time, it'll be really bad. Like with the Arrow, like with the Flash, like with all of that stuff. And I'm like, I'm fatigued. I can't do this all over again.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Walking Dead did it. I feel like it sucks too, because if a show keeps going for a long time, I feel like it gets to a point to where The Walking Dead, there was just a lot of things going bad for it.
Yeah.
When it did start to decline.
Yeah.
Like, there was actors who were just, like, over it. There was the writers that were leaving.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they ended up going past the comics at some point.
So they're just
they were making shit up.
Yeah.
And so they had all of that going bad for them. But, like,
Yeah.
in the Game of Thrones type of thing, to where they were
they
just...
shat the bed season 8.
Oh, my God. They were just like, hey, instead of concluding in 5 more seasons, we're going to conclude it in 2, and we're just going to destroy all of the characters people love.
Y'all cool with that? No?
No.
I don't care.
We don't care. We're going to make money while doing it.
See if I give a shit.
Yeah. And then we're going to do a spin-off. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah.
But the spin-off performed very well. People like House of
Second
Dragons.
season was okay. Second season was a little wishy-washy.
I will say moderately well received.
We'll see in another year or two when the 3rd season comes out.
Yeah, however that goes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, the offset to me being like, oh, I don't want to start a new series because it takes forever and I might reach a certain point where I hate it and I can't say that I finished it, is I do love, obviously I love anime, watching it for forever, where there are certain shows where 12 episodes, that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah.
I hope you liked it because it's gone and it's not coming back.
Yeah. That's kind of what I liked about Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Was because Breaking Bad, they knew how they were going to end it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they came out with Better Call Saul, and they're like, all right, this is also going to be really good too.
Yeah.
And I respect that because with like Dexter, they're like trying to bring him back and everything, and I'm like, let it die, guys.
I think the mark of a good story is knowing how it ends.
How
it's
to
not
end
making it up as you go and being like, well, I want to say this, this, and this. You have a start, you have your beginning, you figure out everything in between, and you end it. And that's, I know there are some corporate execs that are like, we could get renewed for another 3 seasons. And it's like, why? Quit when you're ahead. Quit when it's good. Quit when you know you've got a banger. Oops, all bangers. And you can just stop.
It comes out every once in a while.
I was trying to sound like Obama, but I can't.
Oops, all bangers.
Oh, oops. All bangers. American people. Oops, all bangers.
All bangers.
Oh, it's all bangers.
Wow.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
A meal.
A succulent Chinese meal.
This man grabbed my penis.
We're going off right now.
This is democracy manifest.
This man grabbed my penis.
This man grabbed my penis. Oh, you've been practicing judo.
That's just how he talks too.
I know.
Oh my God.
You guys know what I'm referring to. It's a video of this Aussie man getting arrested by like 5 cops. Like they have 5 people detaining him, putting him in the backseat of this car, and he goes on this poetic, like dramatic-esque monologue. But he goes, listen here, gentlemen. This is democracy manifest. What was the charge? A meal? A succulent Chinese meal? This man grabbed my penis. See the headlock. Observe the headlock.
Fine headlock you have there, gentlemen.
You've been practicing your judo. And then they interviewed him like years later, and you think like, oh, he was just in like a
Oh, that was just a character. That was just a bit.
No, he just sounds like that.
That's
like,
him.
Yes, they've put me in a headlock, as you can see in the video, and it's just like, no, he sounds
that's
like
just
that.
him. Like, wow, okay.
And I watched that video with Micah, and I was like, I love when people are so effortlessly poetic.
Oh, yeah.
Just like not even on purpose. Like that's just who they are. Like they're standing on top of Pride Rock, giving a soliloquy.
Like, man,
that's just what he sounds like.
I want to be like you when I'm older.
I do too, but instead I got to talk about butt, farts, balls.
Instead, I stutter and I can't. I can't read, and I'm dyslexic as hell.
And I'm dyslexic.
I'm dyslexic as hell.
Yeah, you are. But it's okay. I got ADD, and it ain't getting
God
no better.
gifted me a hand and I'm working with it.
I we had game night at my brother's the other day, and I was like, no. If you could read, you'd be too strong.
Yeah.
God had to kind of put a dampen on you because
God
if you
had to
could
bring
read,
me down a notch.
you could be unstoppable. Same thing. If I had the attention span, if I didn't have ADHD and I had the attention span of an everyday, like, normal
Power
brain
couple.
person.
Power couple right here.
Yeah, dude. I could do it all. But no, some divine intervention had to pump the brakes.
Democracy.
Democracy manifests. But if that didn't happen, I'd be on the street. I'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, that is true.
I'd be, yeah.
To bring it full circle, HOA suck.
Hey guys, do you remember that's what we were talking about? I didn't. I don't remember the past hour and 5 minutes of my life. Do you? No. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Today was a bit hectic. We apologize, but
don't join HOAs. Don't create HOAs.
Don't
stay
find
away.
me.
Stay away from them.
Don't find me. I don't have any money to give
They're
you.
dookie doo-doos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell them.
Anyways,
You know what I have to say about that?
Period. Anyways,
Slay Queen.
don't forget to
I'm
like,
queening out.
subscribe, comment about a crazy HOA story you had.
If you've got one.
If you have one, or if you have a friend. Don't forget to
I'm dyslexic.
Don't forget to submit your pet for Pet of the Week.
Yeah.
There we go. I got through it. But that is the end of the episode.
That's it. And we don't have to record for another week.
Bye.